Hello, everybody. It is 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, at least where I am, which means it's time for the Monster Maverick Show, and I'm your host, Neil McSpadden. I am, Splinterlands OG and, Big Whale and all that stuff. Half of X Chaos Project, half of Venari Syndicate, all kinds of fun stuff in the Splinterverse. So this is the show all about, the economic side of Splinterlands. We're not going to get into battles. We're not going to get into picking your lineups. It's all about the economy, the earn side of play to earn, as I like to say. We got a couple people in the audience coming in. So today's kind of an interesting day in the Splinterverse, and we have four big things happening right now. So number one, today is the Runi pre-sale or whitelist mint, and we're going to do some of that here in just a bit. And also we have a lot of proposals to go through, which will affect the economy quite a bit. And of course we'll do our weekly ecosystem roundup. Clay's asking me if I'm wearing a Dick Tracy jacket. No, this is my Space Wizard robe, at least a portion of it. Oh, why am I maxing out here? So, oh, jeez, goodness, that looks bad on the mic settings. So this is my Space Wizard outfit, at least part of it, and then this. What is going on? And then, yeah, a little blown out. I don't know. I just touched something and something went crazy. I don't know. Let's see if that works. So order of operations here. I'm still maxing out. Is going to be we're going to do a little minting, a little ecosystem looking a little. We're going to go back to the mint to see if we get a reveal. And then we'll get into some of the proposals and talk about some of those. So before we get any further, let's hit the theme song. Alrighty. Oh, let's turn that down. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with my microphone, but hopefully we'll make it through. So Plato says, "Good luck on a cool mint." Yeah, so hopefully so. So this is kind of a weird one. My monitor. So I've got I've got a laptop over here. I got my main ultra wide monitor here in front, but my ultra wide is doing something crazy. It's putting all these white lines and stuff through the screen, so it's very hard to use. So you're going to be seeing me a lot like this, looking over here. But we'll see how it works out. So for those who don't know, Runis are it's a monster that's going to be usable in game, but it's also a profile picture project on Ethereum. So this is a bridge between the Splinterlands world and the Ethereum PFP world. So if you see me on Discord, you'll see that my icon is a black kind of silhouette with a blue hat, and it has an Ethereum logo on it. And that was from a PFP project called Incognito, which I thought was really cool. I like the artwork of it, but did not really sell well. So I've dabbled in the PFP space, I wouldn't say extensively, but significantly, and never really picked good winners here. So we'll see how it works out here. So obviously I'm already in Splinterlands, so I'm not picking this like out of the blue like all the other PFP projects I've been involved in. So obviously, most it's like anything. Most of them go to crap or close to zero, and a couple, go out of the park. And and are super successful. So I'm pretty excited about Runi's, just because it brings in a bridge to the Ethereum crowd, which I've been saying for years and years. That's where the money is in DeFi, in GameFi, and all of that. So being able to create a bridge for those people to come into the Splinterlands ecosystem, I think is great. We also have this feature that is I've never heard of in any other PFP project, where we'll be able to, like, if you own multiple Runis, you'll be able to swap components between them to create like your ultimate Runi, which provides a lot of utility for things that might not otherwise have. Because in a normal PFP project, you do the mint, you get what you get, and generally you sell the losers, keep the winners, or something like that, and you see unique, and that's it. But this being able to swap components is a unique twist. There's some chat in the Discord about whether that'll be a positive on net or a negative. I think it's interesting. I don't know. I don't have any really market predictions about it, but yeah, enough talking, right? So let's go to the videotape, as they say. So here we got this, and if you go to the shop, just if you want to do this in the future or what have you, you click on Runi, and this eventually loads, and whitelist sale open. So I bought 4 spots on the whitelist, so I go to mint now. Now I keep my browser for general use and my crypto stuff separate. So I have I'll have to switch to my other browser here, which I can do like not that one. Nope, not that one. Like so. And so this one is on my this one is on my laptop screen, so I can actually see it, which is why it's so small in the picture. But let's see if I can adjust this real quick. Drag. Live editing, never a good idea, but it is what it is. So this is the landing page, OpenSea.io/collection/Runi/drop, and minting now. And this should work, because this is my Ethereum account, or one of my hot wallets that is linked to Splinterlands. So we'll try it. I got 4 spots, so let's go and mint, see if it works. Approve the transaction. Of course, nothing's popping up. Oh, there it goes. And OBS is not capturing the additional window. That's okay. Just trust me, there's a MetaMask notification that is spinning and spinning and spinning. And maybe. Problem with doing this while streaming is that everything slows way down. Come on, MetaMask. So earlier today, there were a lot of people having, minting 4. That's correct. There were a lot of people having a lot of trouble with minting. So Ethereum is, even though it's gone to the proof of stake, it still has problems. It's still a gas fee based thing where you're competing with everybody who's doing anything on the blockchain at the same time. Here we go. So it's 0.76 ETH for 4, and it's telling me $3.40 worth of gas, which is actually pretty low. Let's do market. I'm going to go a little bit aggressive, just to make sure it doesn't take too long. So now it's up to $4 of gas. And MetaMask is giving me a warning saying, network is busy, gas prices are high, and estimates are less accurate. That's just always the case with Ethereum. Alright, I'm hitting confirm. And is it going to go through? Alright, mint is processing. Alright, so we'll keep that up on Etherscan. And so Ethereum, we're pending. It's much slower compared to what we're used to on Hive. Splinterlands runs on the Hive blockchain, which has 3-second, 1 block confirmations, or 1 block irreversible state as of the last thing. So it's super, super fast. There's no gas fees because it's depending on resource credits, which are a derivative of your vests and all that stuff. So, it's way easier to use, basically. But looks like we are successful. I got 1080, 1081, 1082, and 1083. So the question is, will I be able to see them? Because it's got to post the images. Usually it's IFPS or IPFS graphic that they has to link the metadata to the NFT and all that kind of stuff. So that can take some time. So let's see. View collection. Let's see. 419 Yabba has Yabba robe. I won't see them, yeah. But I want to get them going here so that when I come back later, this is all of them. So let's look at my profile. Come on. Oh, everything's so slow. Jarvis refreshing metadata for me. I appreciate it. Alright, so we'll let that load, and we'll come back to it after we talk about the ecosystem. The ecosystem. Which sounds, super serious. Alright, so, again, this is over in my laptop window, so where are we this week? So, this is the 25th, and, yeah, not too much movement. We're down overall about 5 million, which is about 3% compared to last week. So if we go to the chart, we can see that Clay says, if I get a pickle, we're going to riot. So yeah, just, kind of a steady downtrend that we're in at the moment, which is, obviously not ideal. But, Yeba had some ideas of how to fix this. So the big movers, common totems, there's so little of them. Chaos market cap. This is chaos packs, not the actual cards, not the open cards. Plots are down a bit. So plots had a nice bump last week because of the announcement or the initiation of SPS rewards for landholders, and that has retraced about 12%. Let's see, untamed unopened packs is down about 13%, and yeah, so this is just the Nightmare count. That doesn't matter so much. Nightmare market cap is up 24%, so that's a good one. Going from 700k up to 863k. So, it's interesting that about 28,000 or 27,000, maybe 26. Oh, it's right. 25,000. 25,000 nightmares are sold over the last week, which is a good jump compared to the week before. So, nightmares also got the SPS rewards for, just holding them in your game wallet. So, if we look at the weeks before, it went from 250 to 272, and then 272 to 281. So, that one was, 9,000. We had an initial jump of about 20,000, and now we're up 25,000 week over week. So, people are taking the incentive. They're buying more. They're buying more nightmares, and yeah, that's what we expected. So, Jarvie says there's stuff to look at. Let's go back over. Dun, dun, dun. So let's see. This is a whole bunch of other crap that's not worth anything. Oh, where are my Runis? So this one right here is my the one I use for my Discord profile, which will be changing. All right. So let's refresh. So yeah, overall, market's just market. I'm promoting smoking. It's just kind of grinding a little bit lower this week compared to last week, but we are getting some movement on the SPS rewarded things, which was to be expected, but still no Runis here. Come on. Maybe I can look in Ethereum scan. Let's look over here. That's transfers. Just doing this while streaming maybe was not a great idea. But, inventory. Nope, that's not helpful. Alright, so I'll just look at them directly then. So let's go back. What is it, 1080 through 1083. And I'll find this eventually. Go to activity. Alright, we'll try that. It's just everything is so slow. And let's go try activity. Oh, it's starting to show up. This went up to 28 from 26. This is why everybody hates Ethereum, except for the fact that that's where all the people who have millions and millions of dollars are. If there weren't, then technology-wise, it's not so fun to use. This is why Binance Smart Chain was invented. It's why Polygon was invented. It's why Avalanche was invented. All that stuff. All right. Oh, here we go. Let's open all those. And wait for those to load. So, not an ETH problem. Well, this, part of it's a streaming problem, but, also ETH is just slow as molasses. So, while that loads, things are grinding lower here. And, we have some proposals on the table to help address that, which, may or may not work. We'll get into it. Anything not gray is a nice background. So here's 1083. We got a little square head guy with a spear and angel halo. It's got the epaulets on the shoulders. And 1082. Ooh, I like that. I like his little furry armor thingies. What are they called? Let's see. Power cores, desert pearl, head, foil, left hand, ruby staff, rime bear fur. Okay, 0.28% have that trait. That's pretty nice. So that one's decently rare. We got a 3% ruby staff, a 4% desert pearl, 3% triusul mimic for the head, and the 0.28% for the rime bear fur. All right, let's go back to 83. And let's see, 1% have the frosty halo. That's fairly rare. 3% of the taupe leather body. All right, got the blue background. 1081, we got the axe. We got a little armor with the, is that a pauldron? No head ornament. All right. Let's see, background is iris. Body's Mermere plate. Prescient eye, 2%. Depth finder power core, 0.46. So that's a rare core. And brass long axe, 3%. All right, and 1080. All right, I like the robe. The rest of it's kind of meh, but the robe is nice. So body zealot shroud, I guess that's what that is. 4% power, 4% forest pearl core. That's going to be fairly common. 3% steel long axe. Eye of divining, 3%. And yeah, so zealot shroud. So I got two good bodies. Got, and then we got this guy with the halo. So yeah, I could mix and match some stuff there and come up with something pretty cool. When that functionality is enabled. I'd go with the depth finder core. I'd probably go with the Ryan Bear fur body. I'd go with the halo. Maybe the ruby staff or the ruby spear. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to play around with that. So this is just the whitelist minting though. So the what do you call it? Next week we get the open minting. So open mints, for a popular project tend to go very, very quickly, and there tend to be gas wars with it. So my original plan was to get 10 because, well, one, I didn't know about the swapping thing, and two, I wanted to get enough to have cool stuff, and that's still the plan. And hopefully I'll be able to get a couple other rare traits and build something pretty unique and that looks good. So yeah, that's the plan. And whether I'm actually able to get another 6 or not when the open mint is up is debatable. So when we go to the I've lost it now, the mint page. There's a toggle, plus or minus how many you want to mint. A lot of projects, will limit you of how many you can mint at one time. And I don't know if that's going to be the case here. So we'll see how many we can mint in one transaction. When it comes to next week with the with the free for all, because there's another 4,000 some odd to get there, and I would be surprised if it lasts more than a couple minutes, basically. So, and then it'll be on to the secondary market. Deuce says public mint is limited to 3 per transaction, so that's that'll mean I'll have to run 2 wallets and do 3 on each, and then I'll get my 6 hopefully. Stays that way until minted out. We'll see. So, I could sell 1081, or no, 1080. I don't think I'll keep any of these. So let's see. What do we got on offers? We got 0.26. So, the mint price was 0.19. 0.26, not enough. But let's check out what the floor is. Let's check. Where's the actual project page? Let's go over here. And we'll see what the floor is. So, again, I'm doing a lot of this kind of like basic stuff because a lot of people in Splinterlands have never been in the PFP world. So, what the floor that they're talking about is like, what is the lowest asking price, across the collection? Total volume 12, so, 12 ETH worth of trading has already occurred. Floor price is 0.39, which is going to be that guy right there. And best offer is 0.26. So bidders can just make random offers. They can make a collection-wide offer, so it goes out to everybody, or they can make offers on specific NFTs. And 8% are listed for sale. There's 668 owners. That goes by wallet address, and 62% unique. So that's not bad. Updated 44 seconds ago. So I'm going to list my 1080 here because I don't think I'm keeping any of this. The Eye of Divining. Meh. All right. So I'm going to click sell. Deuce is saying anything below the public mint of 0.38 is too low. I would agree. So I'm going to say, I don't know, 0.49. So what happens a lot of times with these is that there's the mint, there's some initial activity, there's kind of a lull, and then overnight a lot of bidders will come in from Asia or Australia or wherever, and they will sweep the floor, which is the term that's used to kind of buy up everything up to a certain price. And so we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna Oh, also you have to keep in mind there are fees, so service fee that's going to OpenSea, creator fee that's going to Splinterlands, I imagine. So you're not going to get 0.49, you're going to get 10% less than that, because 7.5, 7.25, 2.5, rounded up to 10. So net I'd get 0.43 something, 0.44. But I'll complete listing, and gotta approve. And there's a MetaMask pop-up right here. Eventually. So, while I'm doing that, if it doesn't sell, no fees, right? Well, there's the approval fee. I think that's a sign, actually. I'll tell you in a second. But yeah, if it doesn't sell, it just sits there, and then that's just nothing. So I'm paying $1.08 to approve. I know you guys can't see this confirmation window, but just trust me, it's there. So I'm paying 0.0008 ETH to do this approved transaction, and then I hit confirm. And then that should take me to another. So it's processing, and then that should do it. So, and then another MetaMask notification is popping up. I think this one's just an approve, or just a sign rather. Been so long since I've done anything on OpenSea. Also, if you're new to the PFP scene, OpenSea is the largest marketplace. There are others, but OpenSea is the biggest. And, they started on Ethereum only, but now you can do listings on Polygon, and I think they integrated Solana. So this one is just a signature, which does not cost any gas. And that'll actually finalize the listing once my little sign button populates. And so it's the place to be. So, with all that said, we have 3 proposals that are in front of us right now, and the goal of which is to push DEC back towards par value. Par value being 1,000 Splintoshis, or 1,000, 0.001 US dollars per DEC. Said the other way, 1,000 DEC equals $1 US. And obviously, if you've been in the chat, then there's been a lot of contention about it. So the one that I think is not contentious is removing DEC rewards, which total 70 million per month, from liquidity pool incentives. So that's in the LP-rewards channel under the DAO proposals on the Discord. And fun fact. So some of us were talking in the Discord I think it was last night or the night before, and I was running some models of like what that would look like for for different scenarios, like because all the SPS rewards, all the DEC rewards for anything really it's arbitrary, and it's whatever the community decides. I know there was initial parameter set by the white paper and Splinterlands, but now that we are into this DAO system, we can decide anything we want. So I was running a few different models of like, okay, so let's say we get rid of DEC, and then we take the SPS that's already allocated to liquidity pools, and we just distribute those in a slightly different way. And let me see if I can pull that up here. Yeah, so Pluck emailed me, or DM'd me rather, and says, hey, can I take a look at your spreadsheet that you did? And I sent it over to him, and sure enough, this proposal I think is pretty close to what was actually in the final proposal. Let me bring up the actual thing here, so I can compare and contrast. So this is taking the SPS that was here, 5.625 million SPS per month, and just redistributing it, in a different way, and changing, lowering the APR of some stuff and raising the APR of other stuff, and and just making it kind of just work out in a relatively neutral manner. And the overwhelming response in the Discord seems to be in favor. So the whole thrust of all these things is to push DEC up to that par value, but more fundamentally, the idea is that DEC should be the transactional currency, and DEC should be in that stable-ish region of of pricing around that 1,000 Splintoshi. So the net result of that is that any volatility coming into the marketplace is going to be pushed through SPS rather than DEC. So we want DEC to be level, within a range anyway, and then we want SPS to hopefully increase, but whether there's increase or decrease to be on that side. And I'm just looking here at the proposal numbers, and I think they came in exactly the same as this scenario. I came up with a couple other scenarios, like load balanced, where it's like, okay, we take a snapshot and then we just balance everything so everything's earning the same APR. And then another one, somebody was saying, well, shouldn't stablecoin pools pay less because there's less volatility? And I said, well, you can. And because it's all arbitrary. So this one is a weighted model where if there's two volatile coins on both sides of the liquidity pool, have a weight of 4. If there's a volatile coin against a stable coin, it has a weight of 2. And if it's stablecoin has a weight of 1. And then that would come out this way. But the proposal is for this one, and I took my niceified numbers and went with that, which I think is reasonable. So the main thing that would go down would be vouchers, so that would get reduced by 14% compared to current prices. And this was SPS as of a couple days ago, so it's that APR number floats. The SPS swap.hive, the SPS ETH, those would both get hit by about 9%. SPS BNB would get hit by about 7%. And, I think they're still high, still 61%, 65%, 54%. It's just, not as high as they were. But in return for, reducing, almost eliminating all DEC inflation, I think that's okay. We still have leaderboard rewards in DEC, so that needs to be addressed at some point. But that's small. It's 10 times smaller than what we have through the liquidity pools. So I think that should be addressed, but it's not going to move the needle too much. So then if this passes, then DEC printing almost stops, and so now that's the supply side of the equation. Then we have the demand side of the equation. So the other two proposals are to change the pricing of Rift Watchers packs and validator licenses or nodes into DEC. So before we get into some issues with all that, is that I think the overall idea of pricing everything in DEC is the right move. I think they should have been that way from the beginning, because SPS is the store of value, it's the governance, but DEC will be the transactional piece. And then if there's 6 billion DEC out there, then if you want more, then and you're not able to buy it from the marketplace because it's already at par value, then you can burn SPS and mint your own DEC, and that will drive a dynamic that we've talked about before, where there's buying but no selling for SPS, and that should drive the value of SPS up, which would be great. So, so Yabba says we mentioned the post should have been that way from the beginning. I agree, but we are not in the beginning, and so this presents issues where people who already bought Rift Watchers, already bought nodes, say, well, I spent my SPS. If we transition to this DEC model, then effectively you're giving people who came after me a huge discount, because DEC's trading at whatever's trading at 580 Splintoshis, something like that right now. So it's a 43%, 42% discount. And Yaba put in a message in the Discord, and, the idea here is understandable that, okay, so yes, there's an initial discount as people buy DEC in order to take advantage of the discount. That pushes the price of DEC up. Eventually, we'll get back to the par value, and then there won't be any discount at that point. So it's just a temporary sale. And Ag had mentioned in the Discord earlier today that it's like a flash sale. So I understand that. I understand that argument. I'll read out your comment here in a second. So, the question is how fast, right? Because, if there's enough existing market demand in DEC to make that arbitrage close quickly, within, I don't know what would be reasonable, a week, a few days, then I don't think anybody would be a problem. And as the system kicks in and DEC rises to par value, all the arbitrage starts happening on the SPS side. SPS rises, everybody's happy, no problems there. The other side of things is that, well, okay, Splitterlands offers this discount, and there's not enough existing market demand in order to close that arbitrage. What happens then? So then there's this ongoing, lag period where there's a long sale instead of a flash sale, and then the people who bought before feel like they're losing out. Why should I have bought the Rift Watchers in the pre-sale or early on when I should have waited? It would have worked out better. Which is understandable, right? So I bought a ton of nodes in pre-sale and in tranche 1, and I did not buy any Rift Watchers because I I decided to be patient because I figured, well, the way these things go typically is that they spike in price first, and then as people's demand gets satisfied, we have a mid-print slump. So so I was planning on taking advantage of that mid-print slump later on. So, Cimarron says, even if the arbitrage closes quickly, people who buy DEC now can purchase about 10% of the node compared to the pre-sale at a value lower than the pre-sale. I don't know if it's lower than the pre-sale, but lower than tranche 1 for sure. So, yeah, I think right now the price, in DEC terms converted to US dollars is like, 15.25, something like that. So, yeah, it's cheaper. And that was not the original intention. But, things happen. So Yaba is saying one thing people don't realize is that there's about 40 million DEC per day that goes out from Splitterlands for market purchases with credits. It's not newly minted DEC. It's DEC we've taken in from pack sales. But I don't think people realize the difference between CL/TD packs where that DEC goes back into circulation versus RW packs and licenses where it's burned. Okay. So... I guess Yaba's point there is that there is this additional demand happening. The fact of the matter is that there's 6 billion DEC out there. Let me pull up my my ecosystem chart. There's 6.3 billion, and that has a market cap right now of 3.8 million. So that's a lot. And some of it is held in trust accounts and things, inside Splitterlands, and that's all fine. So that'll reduce the circulating supply. And I looked at the liquidity pools for DEC on Hive Engine and on Binance Smart Chain and Ethereum. And there's I forget the number. There's like $1.8 million worth of liquidity in the pools for that are currently available for sale. So I did the math and said, okay, how much net buying would it take through these liquidity pools in order to push the price up to parity? And it's about $300,000. And that's net buying, not gross buying, which is an important distinction. So, will these changes affect a $300,000 swing in the very short term? And I don't know. I'm not 100% convinced that it will. I do think the transition needs to happen. And I know people are going to be... people are upset about anything no matter what. Like I say all the time, nobody's ever happy. But it's just human nature. So, there's just so much overhang in the existing DEC supply that I don't think it's going to be quick. So, I think that if we make this conversion, then there's going to be extended period for sale where you're able to get a discount on Rift Watchers and on node licenses. Is that the end of the world? No. Does it make some people upset who, feel like they overpaid now, now that things have changed? Yeah, I can understand that. So, one idea I threw out there as a compromise would be one idea as a compromise would be to make it price neutral at the beginning. So I said, okay, let's take a 6-month window, and we've got DEC's at .005 whatever 583 as of a couple hours ago when I made this chart. And we'll say, okay, parity is 1,000. We're at 583. That'll be the bracket for right now. And we'll say, okay, upon purchase of a Rift Watchers or purchase of a license, then we're going to take the market value or the par value, subject to a floor of the current 583 market price. So, taking $1,500 or $2,500 worth of node license, it'd be like, 2.5 million DEC or 4.3 million DEC at the lower market price. And then over time, over the couple months, you would raise that floor on the allowable market price for purchase up to parity. And so that by the end of a few months, then we would be, redeeming all DEC at par value. And this is kind of a middle ground idea where, the people who bought, last week, feel like, well, they're not missing out because the market price remains the same. And, over time we do approach that, redeeming everything for par value. It's just a gentler transition to that rather than doing it all at once. So it's an idea. I don't know if there's if there would be support for that, but it's worth throwing out there, I think. Let me catch up here on chat because there's been some commentary, especially since we have Yabbit in the audience here. Let's see. Joshua says no. SL does. Let's talk about Runi's. Crypto Ace says works for me. I will vote for it. Cimarron says doesn't Rift Watchers go to the DAO, not burned? And Yabba responds, yeah, good point, but either way it doesn't go back into circulation unless the DAO votes for it. So DAO 4, I don't know, llama something. They said gonna have proposals to decide what to do with the DAO income. Yeah, Plato is saying, I feel like they made the change DICE to Rift Watchers, DEC to SPS because DEC was above par value, but now the DEC is below par value. It's getting changed back. If DEC goes back above par value, will it change back to another token again? So under the new system, all additional printing of DEC will be from SPS. So you'll be able to burn 1,000 SPS and you get 975 DEC. I think that was the ratio. Or sorry, no, not 1,000. $1 worth of SPS, time weighted average price to 975 DEC. And so Yabba's saying we'll never go above par again. I'm not 100% convinced of that. There could still be enough buying pressure because what happens when we're above par. So let's say DEC's at 1,200 Splintoshis. It's like, yeah, I can burn my SPS and then mint DEC and then buy more SPS, or I can wait for somebody else to do it. And there's a little bit of psychology that goes in there, and a little bit of game theory that gets in there. It's like, well, how much do I want to burn? How much risk do I have in doing this swap process? While others are doing the same thing, so I could come out, losing out a little bit. So I don't think it's quite as simple as it'll never go above par again. But I think there'll be strong arbitrage pressure to bring it back to par. So that's a little bit of a hedge there. Daru says it's not just being upset; it's a 40% haircut of existing value. You know, not necessarily. It you know, it depends on what people do, right? So if people like me who were just waiting to buy Rift Watchers, then there's no change to market value because it just goes into people's holdings. You know, so you know, it's not as straightforward as that, I don't think. Plus, you know, the price of DEC, you know, if it reacts quickly, you know, that change will evaporate quickly. But you know, if it doesn't, then it can lag on, and then it can depress prices. Let's see. Dal for Llama says, I think 100% of Riftwatcher sales goes to Dow, 20% of nodes goes to Dow. Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head. So far, no one has come up with a decent justification to change ongoing sales to Dow and not just future sales. Well, I mean, you know, when do we want to get to the end point? Sooner or later? You know, sooner is generally better. That's the justification, really. Crypto Ace says, why is it so important to push it to peg? And Luthien says, hi, hello. And Yeba has a response to that, because that's how the entire system is designed to work properly and provide value to the SPS token going forward, which is true. So, again, the current system, you know, the new system, is all volatile, you know, input, all volatile, you know, value being stored in the ecosystem should be shunted through SPS by burning pressure, by minting pressure for DEC. So, you know, SPS, you know, is your store of value, and it is your governance power, you know, for voting on things. So, and then DEC is the transactional currency. So, you know, that doesn't work with DEC, you know, at 583. It doesn't work until DEC is at its par value of 1,000 Satoshis, or thereabouts. So that's why. And, you know, I think, you know, long term, you know, this is a good move. It's just, you know, how do we get from here to there with minimizing the pain in between, right? So, I mean, obviously, you could tell from the comments already that, and if you've been following on the Discord, there's lots of comments. People who you know, bought earlier and, you know, if this goes through, will have paid a higher price, are upset at that. And, you know, that is unfortunate. I think that my middle ground idea, I think, has some merit, you know, in that we gradually, you know, close that gap. But you know, even so, there would be, you know, when we get to step 2 and we narrow the window of allowable DEC redemption, then you know, there will be pain at that point too. You know, all of this is inside of, you know, a crypto bear market. Although we had a good day today, you know, we had some, I don't know what the news was, but at around 2:00 Eastern, all the markets just popped. So, you know, there was some algorithmic thing that caused the bots to buy the stock market and to buy, you know, crypto and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, I guess the short version is change needs to happen, but, you know, how can we do this as fairly as possible? And, you know, so that's my best idea so far, is to make the change gradual rather than all at once. But, you know, that being said, like, I know Cryptomancer said that, you know, he was going to vote no on both of those proposals, as long, you know, given, you know, as worded now. So I'm sure, you know, Ag and Yaba are going to vote yes. So there is some, you know, people have different opinions on whether this is the best way to go forward or not. And Dara is saying, you know, as it stands, the proposal sooner rather than later is not a sufficient justification, and that's fine. And, you know, that's a reasonable you know, point of view to take. For me, if it's, you know, as written, I'm a little torn. You know, I might vote yes on nodes and no on Rift Watchers, just because, you know, so nodes are not selling at all. If we go up to the license here, it's been at 5,005 since September 27th. So there's basically been no nodes sold in a month. So there, I'm not as concerned, because there's so little liquidity in you know, transaction volume, that, you know, I think, you know, 5,005 is, 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 you know, the secondary market is already discounted, so it's not that big a deal. For Rift Watchers, though, we're selling looks like 15,000, almost 16,000 over the last week. So that's a lot of people that are buying Rift Watchers at what would be a higher price compared to immediately after this whole thing were to be kicked off. I was saying the sooner it happens, the sooner the system can start working as designed, which we believe can provide significant value to the tokens. If the community wants that to happen later, then that's fine. Okay. Crypto is saying UK lawmakers vote to recognize crypto as regulated financial instrument. Maybe that pushed it up. Yeah, that could have been the news headline. Who knows? How often do I track them? Do I grab them value manually? Yes, I spend about a half hour before every show going through all these tokens manually and recording their values into my spreadsheet here. It's a giant pain. And I would love it if somebody were to automate this. I don't know if Jarvy's still here, but it sounds like a great thing for Peak Monsters to do. And then I total all the market caps, and then I create this chart. And that's right there. So you can see, we had a nice little rise going back to July up until what is that? Middle of September, and then it's been flat and then down, since then. So Jarvie says maybe, or laughing yes, which Asgard's is great, so maybe he could probably whip this up in like 10 minutes. Here's the but we may wait until non-card market and actual bids and real volume on those things. Yeah, because I have to go to multiple data sources to pick these things out because they're not all available in game. I get some from Hive Engine, I get some from the game API through Peak Monsters, I get some from Splinter Cards. It is what it is. But so the question is, how fast can we get back to par value and get into an SPS burning mode? I don't know. Let's just imagine that this actually does pass, and 2 weeks from today, because Tuesdays are update days, we get this new pricing system. I would definitely buy some Rift Watchers. I might buy some nodes even. Somebody had a question for me in Discord saying that I've been referring to nodes as like bonded SPS because you are permanently staking, quasi staking this SPS into a node in exchange for a stream of voucher and SPS, in the future, which is how bonds work mostly. You can even buy forever bonds where in some countries where you are making a loan that will never get paid back and you just get interest. It's basically the same kind of thing here. And so if it becomes payable in DEC, then it becomes an indirect SPS bond because you're taking that SPS value through the DEC mechanism and paying for it that way. So fundamentally, I don't think it changes that much, but it does change a little bit because there's this extra conversion step. It brings into the question of vouchers, where I've been saying that vouchers are a derivative of staked SPS because the two ways you can get them are from just straight staking your SPS and from your super bonded SPS through nodes. If we go into DEC, for nodes, then that argument is reduced a little bit. And the reason that's important is because I've been making the case for quite a while that vouchers should be used for tournament entry because they are liquid derivatives of staked SPS. Rather than having to have your account staked with SPS, use the vouchers so that we can move the staked SPS power around through the ecosystem and allow other players to enter into these tournaments. It's not a huge point, I don't think, but it does weaken that argument a bit. AJPL says, I don't love how the DEC proposal fundamentally changes the economic model behind nodes. I love the bonded SPS concept, and I think it provides a ton of value to the ecosystem. Personally, I'm fine with the Rift Watchers proposal, even as a large pre-sale buyer, but the node proposal feels like it's a complete 180. Yeah, I can understand that. This is a complicated thing with all these different things interacting. But overall, I do think it's a change that should happen and needs to happen. I don't think waiting for another however long until Rift Watcher sells out, and and however long it takes nodes to sell, then I don't think that's the way to go. You should never want to get rid of your SPS. Basically, that is again store of value and your voting and your governance power. So by pricing things in SPS, is not great. So I do think something needs to shift, and the sooner we get to that, the better. But just whether it's an abrupt cliff or a transition, I think is really the main question, at least for me. Right, I'm just one voter. I do have a decent bag of staked SPS. So it's and your way into tournaments, yes. But I think that should change. So, and I know Weirdbeard. I talked to him about this at Splinterfest, and he's like, yeah, it's I like the idea, but he's much more focused on the season battle pass kind of idea, and maybe that would be priced in vouchers, maybe just to use that staked SPS derivative kind of power. But there's obviously a lot going on with Weirdbeard and his efforts to bring in like a whole esports system. So I don't know, I don't know the priorities there and what would be first versus second. But yeah, it's a complicated situation. So tentatively for me, I'm probably going to vote yes on nodes. I would say like 95%. Rift Watchers, I'm still up in the air, just because it's such an abrupt shift from the the sale, the initial sale, which was not that long ago, right? Nodes have been out for for purchase for several months already, and it's only been a month and a half for Rift Watchers. Although, if it does pass, I'll be stocking up on Rift Watchers. So maybe that's an argument where I should do it, and I'll be spending my. So I don't stockpile DEC. I use it transactionally. So maybe I will stock up on some and buy some Rift Watchers, and then maybe that will help push the price upward. Back towards par value. If there's enough people out there doing that, then the whole thing will work. And then yes, we have a flash sale. But by the end of it, then everybody's happy because everything is pumping. But I don't know. I don't know how quickly that process will play out. So that is kind of the story for now. But I do think cutting off LP rewards is a net positive. I think that the with part of this whole shift thing, leaderboard rewards should probably be changed. I don't know if those are newly minted or if those are distributed from existing stores. So if they're newly minted, I would say stop that. And then if you want to keep DEC rewards, then they just have to be, purchased off the market or coming from existing stores of DEC. And then basically cut DEC inflation to zero beyond burning, or excluding burning. And then we'll be on our way towards that whole system where all the value is stored in SPS. The habit of saying flash sale is the key. It seems like people think this is going to be a permanent or long-term discount. Acro just bought 9 Runi off the market. All right. Did he buy mine? That's the question. Let's see. Oh, mine isn't even for sale yet because the sign thing never populated. Ah, come on. Come on. Losing my whale buyer. So yeah, I mean, that is the question, right? How fast will this whole thing occur? But that is, we got one more minute. Mine didn't have a hat, so no. I guess he's buying hats. Cool hats are fun. So, one of my great disappointments at Splinterfest was that there was no hat merch, at the table there. They only had smaller stuff. They had shirts. Although, I haven't even tried on my shirt yet. It's right here. Splinterfest 2021. And, I need to obviously wash it before wearing. Show my collection. We don't have time to show your collection. Anyway, let me bring up this stuff. And it's still not working. Oh, maybe when I finish streaming, then my MetaMask stuff will work a bit faster. I know that's your stuff, but no time because the show is over. So I want to thank everybody for coming out. Obviously we're going to get a vote of some kind here on all these proposals here shortly. Make sure you do vote, because your vote counts in a way like it never has in anything else. So stake your SPS, vote, and you'll be part of the DAO decision. And that's all for this week.